Recently, you felt something begin to change inside you. It was vague, slippery, impossible to grasp. You know where you want to go. You can see the outline of your future self so clearly, it almost feels real. Yet reality still stands there. Cold and unmoving, only a few steps away, stretched out like an entire lifetime. That distance feels heavier each day. Some mornings, you wake up feeling that everything is about to align, that you are just one step away. On other days, your body feels heavy, your mind feels empty, and you wonder if all your effort means nothing. You question whether you are moving toward something that was never meant for you. Right now, you need to understand a simple truth. Awakening is never gentle. It arrives with confusion, inner breaks, and the demand to face parts of yourself you once avoided. If you are reading this, you are standing at an in-between stage. You are no longer who you were, but not yet who you are becoming. In this transition, a quiet but powerful movement has begun. A door is opening inside you. The only question is whether you are willing to look inward and listen. There's a stage nearly everyone enters, though few recognize it clearly. It is a space between two realities, one falling apart and one slowly forming. To the conscious mind, it feels like uncertainty, fog, and floating. Beneath the surface, it is a turning point of deep transformation. You no longer belong to the old life, but you have not stepped into the new one. You stand between two breaths, two versions of yourself. Everything around you appears the same, yet inside, something is shifting so quietly that no one else notices. Though it unsettles you daily. Change does not begin when you gain new ideas, but when old inner structures stop supporting you. You did not choose this stage. Life pushed you to the edge of what once felt solid. It begins quietly, a subtle fatigue, a sense that something no longer fits, a thought that life could be different. What feels like exhaustion on the surface is actually readiness beneath it. This transition is not dramatic. It feels like standing between two layers of ground. The old layer is soft and familiar. The new one is firm and unexplored. As your inner roots grow, they must push through resistance, not because you enjoy struggle, but because you have outgrown where you were. During this stage, you feel unable to move forward or return. That is the in-between. Life may look stable on the outside. You may have a job others admire, yet each morning something feels wrong. Not hatred, not crisis, just quiet detachment. Like wearing clothes that no longer fit. You want to grow into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. You can picture it clearly. But when challenges appear, old reactions pull you back. Fear and hesitation arise. You feel torn between who you are becoming and who you used to be. This does not mean weakness. It means transformation is underway. The in-between is not empty or stagnant. It is active beneath the surface. Beliefs, values, emotional reactions, and identity are being rearranged. You do not see this process directly, but you feel it through restlessness, impatience, and loss of direction. This is not regression. It is dismantling. Old inner frameworks are breaking so stronger ones can form. Like shedding an old skin, the process is uncomfortable and risky. Vision becomes unclear. Vulnerability increases. Yet without this shedding, growth cannot continue. May not know where you are going, but something inside urges you forward. That inner force pulls you out of what no longer fits, even when the path ahead is unclear. During deep change, progress often feels like failure. The more you grow, the more incomplete you feel. The surface mind focuses on what is missing, while a deeper part senses what is emerging. One seeks certainty. The other asks you to walk without clear direction. This is why people often believe they are failing at the very moment they are growing the most. The confusion is not a sign of incapability. It is a sign that old patterns no longer work and new ones have not fully formed. Like standing before dawn, the darkness is thinner, but the light has not arrived. This uncertainty feels frightening, yet it is necessary. Inner chaos loosens old ground so new growth can take root. Beneath the chaos, another presence emerges. It appears most strongly when you are tired and confused, not to harm you, but to be acknowledged. This hidden part contains the emotions, fears, wounds, and traits you once pushed away. Tired days come without clear reasons. You feel heavy, sensitive, empty. Small comments hurt more than usual. Minor setbacks feel overwhelming. These are not signs of weakness. They are old wounds surfacing because you are finally strong enough to face them. This hidden voice often sounds like your own thoughts, self-doubt, fear of failure, comparison with others. These are not truths. They are old beliefs repeating themselves. When noticed with awareness rather than judgment, this hidden part becomes a source of strength rather than resistance. Many people assume exhaustion means they are moving in the wrong direction. In reality, it often means the opposite. When hidden parts surface, a quiet form of faith appears. Not excitement or certainty, but a steady inner knowing that you must continue. Even on days when everything feels unclear, you cannot fully stop. You may want to rest or withdraw, but quitting does not feel right. That persistence is a sign of alignment. You may notice small internal shifts. Criticism affects you less. Boundaries become clearer. Old patterns no longer feel acceptable. These quiet changes reveal genuine growth. When you can no longer return to who you were, it is not disorder. It is transformation. Real faith does not rely on outcomes or validation. It moves you forward because something inside knows the direction, even without proof. Actions begin to align with inner truth rather than external approval. You may still struggle. Resources may still be limited. Yet you feel less confined inside. A new inner space opens. This quiet faith lifts you on days when strength is low. It allows you to try again after disappointment. Even when the future remains unclear, it still feels worth moving toward. That feeling is not illusion. It is the sign that something within you is unfolding, guiding you step by step through the in-between. This faith does not come from logic. It comes from the deepest part of you, where your true self is slowly forming. If you have been sensing these quiet shifts, noticing small but steady signs along your path, it is not random. It is evidence that you are moving in the right direction. If you are reading these words and feel even a slight inner agreement, you already understand. Your path is opening, and you are stepping toward a direction chosen long ago. If this message resonates, leave a small sign, a like, or subscribe, so this message continues reaching those who need it, and so you do not miss future guidance along your path. Once you recognize the signs that you are on the right path, an important question appears. What should you do next? This is where many people feel stuck. Not because they lack desire, but because they do not know how to turn inner awareness into daily action. Clarity does not come from thinking alone. It comes from movement. The way forward opens only when you step into it. You cannot think your way into a new version of yourself. You must live it, experience it, and act. Growth begins when darkness is faced through action, not avoidance. One of the most essential practices during this phase is minimal presence. This means showing up each day in the smallest way you can maintain, not perfectly, not with full energy, just without disappearing from your own journey. If you are learning a skill, give it 10 minutes. If you are writing, write a few lines. If you are healing, spend a brief moment listening inward. Results are not the focus, the signal matters. When you continue showing up, the path keeps opening. Another key practice is calm observation. When fear, doubt, or old inner voices arise, do not fight them or silence them. Simply observe. Notice them without judgment. When fear is observed instead of resisted, distance forms. You see it instead of becoming it. Writing these thoughts down can help. Treat them like notes from a conversation with yourself. This creates space for understanding rather than suppression. During transformation, large goals are not required. In fact, they often create resistance. Choose one small daily action, so small you have no excuse not to do it. Over time, these small steps accumulate and open doors you could not have predicted. Progress is measured by direction, not speed. Even slow movement forward keeps you aligned with who you are becoming. Real change requires boundaries with your former patterns. Old habits will try to pull you back. Avoidance, delay, self-sabotage, and retreat often appear when growth becomes uncomfortable. Learning to say no to these impulses is essential. Each time you do, you send a clear message inward that you are serious about your path. Growth continues where boundaries are respected. When fear is named, it loses some of its power. Writing down what you fear, why it scares you, and how you might handle it brings clarity. Dialogue reduces darkness. The most important practice is continuing to walk, even when uncertain. You do not wait for fear to disappear before acting. You act so fear can loosen. Each step pushes the darkness back, not because it vanishes, but because you expand. Consistency matters more than strength. Honest effort and repeated action create openings where clarity can enter. As you continue walking, many people ask when a sign will appear. Real signs are quiet. They do not come as instant success or approval. They appear as an inability to return to who you once were. Another sign is a shift in attention. You begin noticing ideas, people, and opportunities you once ignored. Your inner focus changes, and the world responds subtly. You also notice steadier self-worth, less dependence on praise, less fear of criticism. Old triggers soften. Progress becomes about steady movement, not perfection. If something in these words feels familiar, not because of the language but because of recognition, then you have already seen the sign. Even if the path is unclear, your honesty with yourself is enough to continue. You may still not see the full picture. Things may still feel tangled and unresolved. But you have what matters most. Honesty with yourself. Honesty that you no longer want to live as you once did. Honesty that something inside you is asking to be heard. One day, you will look back and realize this chaotic phase was essential. Not because it was easy, but because you chose not to abandon yourself. And that choice alone is enough to begin any true journey.